Hi, I'm Dave Vickers and welcome to the Photo Show. It's another Photoshop tutorial today and we're going to be taking a look at layers. Now layers can be confusing when you first start using Photoshop, but I'm going to show you how you set up a layer, the kind of things you can use layers for, and the advantages it has in your imaging work within Photoshop itself. Remember, if you like what you see on the Photo Show, please comment, like and subscribe in the boxes below. Here's the layers tutorial. In this episode we're going to have a look at layers and just a basic overview of what layers are and some of the things you can do with them. So let's jump straight in and open up a file. So File, Open. I'm going to choose this image of the chameleon here, so highlight that and click Open. Right, so now we've got the image of the chameleon on the screen. If you come over to this side, this area is called your Layers palette. And you can see here we only have one layer up and it's marked as background. And that represents this image on the screen. So you've got the little thumbnail there showing you what one that is. Now what I want to do is to duplicate this layer. So you can click and drag that down to the bottom to the little folded paper icon, and there we've got a duplicate layer of the background. There's another option of doing that, so I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut of holding down Control, pressing J, and that's immediately given us another layer again there. So we've got two layers, both exactly the same, background and layer 1. We can tell the difference between layer 1 and the background. Let's turn layer 1 into a black and white quickly. So a quick adjustment there. And you can see immediately, because this is an adjustment layer, we've got a third layer now. So now we have the background, layer 1 and the black and white adjustment. So let's just quickly make an adjustment here. That'll do fine. For ease on this tutorial, what I want to do is to merge layer 1 and the background adjustment layer together. So I'll turn the eye icon off of the background. You can come up here to layer. Down the bottom you've got an option here that says merge visible with the keyboard shortcut of Shift, Control and E. So I'm going to use that. Hold down Shift and Control and E, and that merges the layer 1 and the black and white adjustment layer into one layer. So now we're back to having two layers. We've got a layer 1 at the top is in black and white, and the background layer underneath is the full colour option. So what can we do with this? Now we've got two layers, one above the other. If you look up here, we've got an area called opacity, and that at the moment is 100%, meaning that the top layer is completely opaque. You can't see through it at all. If we do this drop down, you have a slider, and if we bring it all the way down to 0, we're now back to the full colour image, because basically we've made the layer 1 completely transparent. If we bring the slider to 50%, that'll do. You can see now that we've got a mix of the two. We've got a nice muted colour looking image using the black and white layer over the top of the colour layer. If I turn the background layer off for a second, you can see here this checkerboard effect is Photoshop's way of showing you areas with no information. So it's showing you how transparent the black and white layer is over the top of the colour layer. So that's one option, and opacity can be used for a variety of reasons. We'll look at some other things in other tutorials. For the moment, let's put the opacity back up to 100%. What I'm going to do next to show you is to add a layer mask onto this black and white layer. So come down to the bottom of your palette here, and there's a little icon which is a rectangle with a circle in. Click that, and you can see here it's added something to that layer. This is called a layer mask. And basically what this will allow us to do is to add or take away to that layer using the brush tool. So we'll pick the brush tool. You can come down here, it's very obvious, it looks like a paintbrush. You can either click that or just use the keyboard shortcut of pressing B. So I've pressed B, and now we have a circle on the screen. This represents the size of our brush. You can alter this by coming to the top here, and you have a slider for the size to increase or decrease the size of the brush, and a slider for the hardness to make it a soft brush or a very hard edge brush. I'm keeping this as a soft edge brush. Another option here to increase and decrease the size of the brush is using the square bracket keys next to the P on your keyboard. Press the right hand one, it'll increase the size of the brush. Press the left hand one, it will decrease it. Okay, so we've got our brush set up. We've got a layer mask in the layer area here. And if we keep our colour swatches with black on the foreground and white on the background, and just start to paint over the chameleon, you can see it's starting to bring the colour through. And basically what we're doing is we're erasing part of the black and white layer to reveal the colour layer underneath. I'm going to do this quite quickly. If you were doing this as a proper photo exercise, you could take a lot more time over this, but I'm just going to do this really quickly now, just to show how it works. So I'm erasing the black and white layer to reveal the colour layer underneath. And one of the great things about using a layer mask is that it's non-destructive, which means if I'm working here and I go too far and I come into this area here, I've coloured it, rubbed out where the leaf is. If I change my colour swatches to the opposite way round, so I press X on the keyboard, so now I've got white on the foreground and black on the background, and paint back over that, it will replace the black and white area that I've rubbed through. So I'll press X again, switch it back, so we've now got black on the foreground. That will reveal it, put it back to white, and that'll rectify it. Okay, so I'm going to go back to black on the foreground, just finish this off quickly. Bring the brush size down by using the left-hand square bracket, just in the smaller areas. Again, I said you can take a lot more time over doing this. It's just a really quick whiz round to show you what's possible. And there. So now we've got a mixture, which is the black and white background from the layer 1 and the colour chameleon from the background layer. Last thing I'll do now is merge this down. So again, you can use the layers palette to come down, merge visible. I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut Shift Control E, and now we've brought those two layers back into one image layer, which you could save as a separate item. And there, that's a real quick overview of how layers work. Thanks for watching. I'm Dave Vickers. See you next time.